Hi, this is Bronze Age artist Ken Landgraf, and I'm going to be demonstrating some inking where I'm using a brand new brush. This one is called Zeg Art Graphic Twin. I had read about this brush saying and comparing it to the Statler Mars Graphic 3000, which I used to use to ink New York City Outlaws and all my classic work. I bought this brush recently, and I must say it's quite similar. It has a rubber tip. And I also put India ink in it. What I did is I took the cap off here with the point and shook it, and the sponge came out, and I stuck the sponge into India ink because this is water-soluble ink inside this brush, so it'll smear. So let's begin here with doing some inking. I'm looking here at Hitler. He's all surprised as he's being attacked here by Captain Fantastic. And we also got Captain America and Bucky coming down. I like it. Bucky's got a machine gun. They use weapons here. They're fighting the Germans, SS troops here. So I'm going to look at, let's say Hitler here. I want to draw in his drapery. And I'm going to stop by his decoration here because I want that to pop out. Okay, where the ink is hand, what I do is I usually divide the hand in half here at the palm and start inking with the brush. And we throw a shadow down in his hand. Oh, that looks good. And I work on Captain America now here. And I see he's got his deltoid muscle here. So let me ink that in. And we got his chest, so I'm going to outline that real heavy. And use a light and shadow technique here. I'm going to throw a shadow down from his body onto the side here, and this is going to be light coming this way. So I'm stopping it at the edge here. I learned this from Wally Wood, and I think he took it from Bern Hogarth. But Wally Wood's the famous one for this. And here's the rib cage muscles, the ribs. And then I'm looking like, you want to pop out the bicep muscle here. And I'm going to throw a shadow from Captain's costume here onto his bicep muscle. And we'll throw in a little bit back here for the tricep. And we want to pop out his extensor arm muscles. And again, I'm always turning the paper towards me. I had a lesson on that. I saw most of the Bronze Age artists did that, and also the Silver Age did. That way you get a slick line. Joe Sinnott sure as heck did this. Look. Dan Atkins, any of those real slick super inkers did this. Okay, here we got his parachute. And I'm going to throw a shadow from the parachute strap onto his chest. See that? And we want to pick up a shadow under here, underneath that strap. Okay, so then I'm looking over here at his deltoid. I want to knock that in. I'm paying very close attention to the anatomy, inking light and shadow on it. And we got the bicep. And I'm going to throw some more inking there. Maybe tie it all together now. And looking at his leg, I want to draw in some of the detail. I'll put a crest of form line down first and turn the paper so I can get this slick. And you notice the lines aren't touching. That's one of the tricks too to make it look slick. And here I'm going to use some down strokes. And we're looking at his, here's trunks. Okay, so that's maybe enough work on him. Let's look around here. What else? Oh, I think Captain Fantastic. Get him in position. And what I'm going to do here is throw a shadow And I'm going to run that shadow down his leg. I'm also working in black. Sometimes people ask me, how do you put the blacks in? Well, black's got to pop things out. That's their purpose. And there's a transparent glass here. So what I'm going to do is lines, 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 and then put in some lines in between, darker. Give it that glass effect. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a curve here, and I'm going to run the shadow and stop it at the end so it's light's hitting it. Work on his other leg. He's got pants on, so I'm going to put some folds. Leave a white space. Well, I like this brush. It makes squeaky sounds. We got his boot. Okay, so that's enough for that commission. Let's grab another one. What we got here? This is a recreation of a famous cover, but I messed around with it because when I do a recreation, I do not ink it and copy it exact because that's no fun. I put my own style to it. So I made Hitler look pretty realistic here. Still got that cartoon face. And they wanted Stalin, the great Russian dictator, added in. So here he is. And we also wanted Mussolini. And it's funny because I looked up Mussolini. His costume is blue. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So let's do some inking on, let's say, Mussolini's face here. I'm going to draw a shadow of his nose. I'm going to put one of those lightings like this on him. Yeah, that looks good already. You want to get thinner lines, you slow down with the brush work. Don't slop it in. Throw a shadow under his ear here. And I'll turn the page. I want to get some more ink lines on him. Again, I want this to be tight, so I'm going to go very slow. And I'm leaving a space here between his hat because I want to get so that you can see it. Throw a shadow under his lip. All right, that's enough for him right now. Let's go back to Uncle Adolf, the great Fuhrer. Okay, so I want to draw his drapery folds on his tunic. It's funny because these early comic books, they didn't have many supervillains. The Red Skull came in later, of course, but of course he's a German Nazi. And so what they had was they would have Hitler and the Japanese, Hirohito, all these guys fighting against the superheroes like Captain America. In fact, Captain America, it was kind of an odd origin. They take this person, they turn him into like this almost Aryan super being. And he went from being puny to being super strong, if you remember, in the origin. So that was a pretty cool idea. Scientists did that again. And throwing a shadow from his tunic and picking it up in his clothing. And we got Stalin over here. Yeah, I'll do a little inking on him. This is going to be all slow inking because I want him to look nice. No fat, ugly lines on him. It's funny because later on in the comics in the 1950s, they replaced the villains in those war comics with Korean War. So you see all those Atlas early Marvel things, and they all take place in Korea. They even got to Vietnam, and they had that character Captain Storm at DC, and he's fighting in Vietnam. Oh, and by the way, what I did here is I did what Wally Wood showed me. I did an outline on the drawings, as you can see here clearly, and then I painted it in with markers and acrylic paint. So that way when I put the ink over it, it doesn't smear. Wood told me that himself. And I never worked in the Wood studio, but Wood used to come into Continuity, Neil Adams's business of producing comics and advertising art, and he would stay in the room with Jack Abel, his friend, and visit him because he was waiting for a train. So I got to talk to him, I would say maybe, I don't know, 8 times, maybe 10. So I'd ask him questions. And he told me about, well, outline the drawing first and color it in. And then you're going to do the inking over that so there's no smearing. That was like mind-boggling when I found that out, because all of a sudden I was able to produce really cool artwork without any smears. Throwing a shadow here from the glass. Okay, here's his trunks. And a shadow from the trunk onto the leg. Turning the paper at a weird angle here because I want to get some rendering in. It's funny because I've been doing most of my videos vertical. The reason for that is I filmed one yesterday horizontal, and I tried to post it, and it was upside down, and I couldn't figure out the new system of correcting the video, so I gave up on that. This is more natural for me because I can easily control it because I got my brush here in one hand and the camera in the other hand. Now again, none of this cool inking was on the original. It was all this like kind of flat inking. I'm adding my own techniques here. Okay, that's enough for that now. Let's get another drawing on the board here. As you can see here, I don't ink and draw one project. I change it up. I change, but I might work on 10 drawings at once. In fact, I am working on 10 drawings at once. I'm drawing 2 comic books at the same time. Gotta pop the skull out here. I always like this Black Terror because he's really evil looking because he's got that skull on him. I mean, and we got this guy on the rocket here. I don't know his name right off. I think, oh, this is Pyro something. joining his deltoid muscle. Pyro Man, the answer to the Human Torch. Throw a shadow from his arm down to the rocket here. It's all in the shadow. That's what makes something look realistic. Right here, I'm going to draw the wing of the plane. Throw a shadow from his arm onto it. Here's his leg. Throw a shadow from his leg onto the plane again. Now I got a controller brush. So I'm going to draw his trunks. You don't want any sloppy, ugly ink work on it. I want it to be more like Senator Atkins, one of those slick inkers. Wally Wood told me one time too, I asked him how much black should be on the figure, on how much white. He said make it 50-50 at the top. So this is about a 50-50, look. I always thought that was interesting. Oh look, came crashing down the ACO cards that I just ordered. Gonna draw 100 of those suckers. Okay, I'm looking at the plane now, what to do. Now you see I'm doing this very rapid, but I know what I'm doing because I'm stopping the ink line. See that? And also you don't want to draw everything slick all the time. The other problem here is I want to pop out the United States symbol. Oh, the Submariner, wow. Okay, here's, I guess it's Pyro Man again. I don't know, no, this is the Grim Reaper, Another good name. And he's doing what he does, he's reaping death. Ah, look at that guy, hit right in the back. This German coming in with his bayonet is not going to stand a chance either. And looking at this pants here. Now you can see how liquid this brush is because it's loaded with India ink. Okay, we've got Hitler here. He's in the conning tower of a U-boat, and we also got a Japanese battleship. Don't forget the Japanese, when they attacked Pearl Harbor, they came in the aircraft carriers. That's how they were able to get those planes over there. That was pretty inventive. And that Zero plane, by the way, from what I read, after it was created, it had some problems, so they called in Messerschmitt, the German aircraft character designer, and he messed around with the Zero and made it lighter. So that's kind of evil because it made it that it could, they took armament off of it, so that it could fly faster than the current planes, so they were able to attack very quickly because they could fly faster. That was pretty interesting. Okay, and we got another commission. It's in this pile right here. I'm getting it. Oh, look, there's another one. The famous first Captain America cover. Okay, this one's pretty funny because the idea of this was to have Wolverine, which appeared in a comic book, to pose. But I'm going to make him into a sergeant. And he's in the Pacific, probably on Saipan or Tarawa, one of those islands. And he's killed the Japanese warriors, soldiers here. This must have been hard to do because those Japanese knew how to fight. They would the Bushido code and all the other stuff they had, the samurai thing. They would fight to the death. I don't think the Germans would do that, heck. Maybe the fanatical ones would, but these guys weren't afraid to commit suicide either after they were starting to lose the war. They started using the planes as suicide bombers. Oh, and this is cool too, because what the Wolverine did is he tore them all up with his claws. And it's funny because there's a Harley Davidson motorcycle, and I was picked of all people to work for Harley David, and I drew cartoons of kind of sexy biker girls when they're promoting the black version of the Harley Davidson. There's a book where I did that actual artwork. And it was funny too, because they said like draw the girls naked dancing, like a bar scene type of thing. But then when they printed it, they put censor stuff all over it. So that was funny. So they decided at the last minute that they weren't going to be as crazy and wild as they thought they were going to be. Okay, so here's this guy's killed by a tree. He's laying on the palm tree here. Now, every aspect of doing these commissions and drawing is always fun. At first, you kind of panic a little because you go, oh, gee, how am I going to solve this? But, you know, you look around at other drawings and stuff, and then you go, oh, gee, I guess Gil Kane would have done it. And Gene Colan sure as hell would have been able to do it. And John Buscema would have been doing it. George Tuska would have been able to do it. So you got to put yourself in that type of mode and realize that, oh, I can do it too. So I hardly ever get writer's block. I mean, artist block. Wow, that's really good. Whoa. Throw some shadows from the fold here so you can make sure that you can see it. Throw a shadow under his head. And he's even got guys that were killed in trees here. What you may not know is the Japanese snipers bandaged themselves and tied themselves in the tree. So if they got shot, they could still go on fighting. Wow, these guys are really wild. So they keep on fighting no matter what. Even in banzai charges, they'd tie up the wounds and stuff. That's why you see those like bandaged heads in those movies and stuff. So they could still attack you. That must have been horrifying, a banzai charge. Especially if you never saw it for the first time, or one of those kamikaze planes comes down and hits your aircraft and blows up the whole ship. That didn't work too good, though, because a lot of the ships were able to shoot them out of the sky. Okay, so that's today's lessons. Me doing a lot of World War II stuff. And it's always fun because I grew up in a time when my dad came back from like being in Normandy invasion and stuff. And combat was on TV. The comic books like Sergeant Rock were out, Sergeant Fury, Marvel's answer to the war comics. So I loved all that stuff. So it's always fun for me to go and work on these things. Also, I loved all the war artists. I loved Russ Heath. I loved Sam Glansman. I loved Joe Kubert. So I'm trying to put all this kind of stuff that I loved into these commissions. Okay, Ken Landgraf signing off. See you guys next time.